How's it going, guys? Today we have a self-proclaimed Gold 1 hard-stuck Garen player. He said he plays mostly Baron Lane, mostly Garen. He's been in Gold 1, most likely for quite a while, and the guy's stuck. So today we'll take a look at his gameplay and just see how we can help him in some way. Because I'm sure there's many people probably like Garen, probably in a similar position around this kind of gold platinum elo, which can be a bit difficult to get out of. For the first time. But let's quickly, before we go into the game, let's have a look at the team comps here. So on our friend Diretto, however you pronounce that name, on his side we got a Vi jungle with electrocutes. That's fine. No real problems there. Kai'Sa with Ignite and Electrocute. Okay, I don't really like that. Kai'Sa is a sustained damage champion. She needs to get lots of damage through her auto attacks. If you go Electrocute is more of a burst champion. So the idea with Electrocute is you want to go in, do whatever damage you can, and then leave, basically. So you want to go for short trades, champions like Akali, to some extent Orianna, any kind of mage, any kind of assassin. They like Electrocute because it gives them more instantaneous on-the-spot damage, whereas Conqueror is better for champions that want to deal damage over time, because your Conqueror stacks, and actually the effectiveness over the course of a fight is greatly amplified compared to Electrocute. So that's a bit strange. Also, you don't really need Ignite on an AD carry. Like I say, you do sustained damage, so that Ignite is only going to save you maybe 2 seconds worth of fighting. I don't think you need it on the AD carry. I think it's more important to stay alive, personally, and I think if you look at a lot of, high elo players, the general meta is that you would go some kind of defensive summoner if you're going to pick an AD carry. But what's more weird is we now have, a Lux. Lux is fine. Maybe this is a Lux support or a Lux mid. I can't quite tell. But then there's a Draven. Okay. I'm going to guess that these two guys argued over who gets to be the AD carry, and one of them just like, screw this, I don't want to play support. I'm just going to play Draven, or I'm just going to play Kai'Sa and just run it down. But, that's solo queue. You don't always get to control your teammates. But anyway, the enemy team, we got a Vayne. So the enemy team has an Ezreal, the enemy team has a Vayne. Again, same situation as this team. I guess people just don't want to play support. Don't do this, guys. Just play support. Yes, supports don't do very much damage, so to speak, but they're very useful. They have very high utility, and also in this game they get a ton of gold. Even on a support, you can pick a damage dealing champion if you want. Maybe not an AD carry, but maybe a mage. Maybe an Orianna or a Lux or something like that. They can still do lots of damage. You don't need to pick a scaling marksman type champion, because these champions do nothing in the laning phase. So, you're just going to get run over. But if it's double AD carry and a double AD carry, anything could happen. Following on a Mundo, an Asus, and a Teemo. So, both team comps, they're not really great. They're not too bad. I actually slightly prefer the enemy team comp. They've got two big tanks here, very strong front line. Two champions which won't get very much gold early, but in the late game they'll do lots of damage. And then just a Teemo, I don't think Teemo is a very good champion, but there we go. Okay, so into gameplay. One thing to note, guys, Garen is he's quite a potent early game champion. His ability 1, I can't remember the name of it, I call it his Q. His ability 1 does lots of damage. It does 100 damage at level 1, maybe even more, and it also silences, so it limits the ability for the enemy to trade back with you. So what you want to be doing is you want to go in for an auto attack, first ability, maybe another auto attack, or just run away, and then the enemy won't be able to trade back onto you, especially Nasus, because Nasus does very little damage in the early game. He needs the time to start stacking his Siphoning Strike. So what I want to see this guy do is go for a slow push, slow push. Okay, this is good. So what you want to be doing here is you want to be slowly attacking minions so that they slowly push into the enemy tower. And then the idea is you build up a large minion wave, and that means that this guy can't walk up to hit minions without taking damage. Okay, this is good. So the Nasus comes in, the Nasus wants to get CS, and now, okay. First problem, guys. So what this guy did in the first, the first 30-40 seconds of the laning phase was totally correct. You totally should have been doing this. So what you want to do when you have one of these strong kind of early game champions, right, is you want to get a slow push at the enemy tower. The reason for this is you're stronger than the enemy at level 1, so they can't fight you. So what you want to do is, at level 1, you want to stand about here. just between your minions and their minions. Now what this means is that if Nasus, who bearing in mind is a total melee champion, if he wants to walk up and he wants to take these minions, he can't do so without getting into a fight with you. So you just stand here, you last hit his minions, and when he comes in, you just start attacking him. And the reason why you can get away with this is because you have more damage than he does in the early game. So what will happen is, if you start fighting him, you'll do your trades, you do more damage to him, he does less to you, and then because you start attacking him first, your minions will slowly build up and push into his minions. Now what that means is you'll have a larger wave than he will, and this wave will slowly be pushing into the tower, and then of course he can't fight you at that stage, because if he does, well, you've got more minions, and if you've got more minions, that basically means that you will win a fight, because, you might have 5 minions attacking him, and then, he might have 3 minions attacking you. And then the final point is it also means you get level 2 first. But, all this is good. But the crucial mistake that this guy made here is he got the level 2, but then he used his ability on the wave. Now, he doesn't need to push this quickly. The only way where you would need to push this quickly is if you're going to try to go for a cheater recall, but that's more of like a challenger, professional level type strategy. If this guy just uses his spin on the wave here, it means he doesn't have this spin if Nasus wants to walk up and hit the minions. So if I was Nasus here, I'd be like, oh, this is great. I can walk up, I can hit a minion, and I know that he doesn't have an ability to hit me back with. He's only got his ability 1, his Q. I honestly can't remember the name of it. Demacian Justice or something. But anyway, so if you just kept on to this spin, it's further pressure towards Nasus, because then he can't walk over and take your minions for free, because not only will you hit him with a spin, you'll also hit him with an auto attack and your first ability. And the awesome thing about Garen is because you've taken Conqueror, and because you have Ignite, you can actually stack up your Conqueror very, very quickly by using your spin. So, because your spin, I think at level 1 it gives maybe 5 spins, something like that, and the more points you put into it, the stronger it becomes. You can hit him with if you hit him with a full charge spin, you instantly proc your Conqueror, and that's going to give you like an extra 10 AD or 15 AD at level 1, and it's also going to give you 10% extra damage. So you got to be very careful about when you choose to use your abilities. You got to get the maximum possible kind of benefit you can out of them. So just saving it here is much better because it puts a lot of pressure on Nasus. So let's see what happens. Nasus respecting, this is what he should be doing. Nasus can't walk up here.
Middle turret is under attack.
Okay, this is the downside of pushing the wave into the tower, guys. Now you can't threaten Nasus because the wave's already under his tower, so you can't attack him. If the wave was here, slow pushing, he would miss out on all these minions. But now he gets to farm them for free because the wave's been pushed too quickly. Yeah. Okay, you can walk up to Nasus here, you don't have to worry about him. You do more damage, remember? As long as you stay out of tower range, you're fine. Okay, the wave's in a very bad position here, actually. So yeah, because you went for the hard shove, what's happened is the wave hits the tower and then normally it would bounce back. But because you're, still kind of hitting minions here, what's going to happen is the wave is going to freeze in this position. Obviously, this is very bad because you don't know where the enemy jungler is. For all you know, Mundo could come down here. Mundo could go, he gets his red buff, he gets a camp here, he gets his blue buff, and then he just comes down the river and attacks you. And because you pushed the wave fast early, it's locked it into this position here. So, this is really bad. So the options you have here, you can try and crash this wave into tower and get another reset, so it resets in the middle. Or, you can let Nasus push. And one thing about people in some of the lower ranks is, I guess they get a bit bored, because I can almost guarantee that if you just wait for this Nasus, if you just stand here and just watch him, he'll just start attacking minions for no reason because, to be honest with you, he probably doesn't even realise that this lane is frozen. He's probably just, if he does, he's not appreciating, like, the significance of what's about to happen. But what it essentially means is that because the wave is here, you are very vulnerable to Mundo. So let's see what happens. Okay, okay. So the wave is actually slowly pushing it back into you, and the way you can tell that is because the enemy has more minions than you. So very, very slowly, over the course of maybe the next 30 seconds, this wave will slowly push over here. Now the ideal thing is to let the wave push back, you can freeze, and then you can zone Nasus away from all these creeps. But if you start auto-attacking these minions, well, it's just a repeat of what you did a minute ago, the wave's just going to go back into the tower, and I dare say it might even freeze here again. So Again, wave management is very important, especially when you're in a long lane like Baron Lane. You know, if you watch like any challenger level top laner in League of Legends, their wave management is impeccable. They never let this kind of situation happen, especially now, because you can infer that the jungler... Look, Vi has just realised that the enemy jungler has already taken his red buff, so you can guess that he's probably going to be around here somewhere. Like, the enemy jungler is definitely here. This trade is good, you know? This just shows the early game power of Garen. Just look at how much damage you can put out to this Nasus. And you burn Ignite. Yeah, that's good. Get out the Mundo gang. See, like I said, you know, you can just predict these things. You just know that Mundo's going to be here, because of course he's going to be here. All the information you need is available. If you just think about it for a little bit, you can guess that these things will happen. Now, this is very risky. Okay, let's go back a moment. The reason why this is risky, right, is you just saw Mundo come into your lane, okay? You don't know he's not hiding here. I mean, if he's, you know, if he's duo with this Nasus and they're talking to each other, this Nasus could just say, okay, you just hide here for a little bit. You know, just sit around and, you know, just wait to see if we can get any kind of gank. Because, you know, you've been pushing a lot lately, so maybe he thinks, okay, you're going to push back into me. So you don't notice Mundo's here. You don't know he's here. Thankfully, he is here, but it could have been a lot worse. You know, chances are this guy went to get a skull crab and saw you fighting. I think he should have waited until level 5 there, because look at his HP, right? That's 1 or 2 auto attacks away, or 1 ult. 1 ult and you would have got it. Ah, see, look at that. You were 1 minion away. 1 minion away from level 5. That would have been the damage you need to kill him. So just try and anticipate when it is that you're going to reach your level cap. So you got to think, right? In League of Legends, there's... You know, generally speaking, there's 2 major power spikes, or perhaps 3. Obviously, it depends on matchups and things like that with regards to items and obviously certain champion breakpoints. But in your case here, right? There's a very big power spike at level 2, because you have 2 abilities to the enemy. There's a power spike at level 3, but that depends on the champion you're playing. And all champions, well, near enough all champions, have a big power spike at level 5, because that's when they get their ultimate ability. So you should always play around this. It's like, if I was playing this lane, I'd think, okay, you know, you've already used Ignite, but let's say you had Ignite. I would have saved my Ignite, I would have saved my Flash until I got to level 5, because I think, okay, as soon as level 5 comes, I know I can kill him. I know I'll have enough damage, sorry guys. I know I'll have enough damage at level 5 to be able to kill him almost no matter what, you know, unless he's on full HP or something. So you didn't need to go for this trade right yet when you know you were so close to level 5. If it was me, you know, just wait, last hit, get your level 5, and then you can go for the kill. And then even if Mundo turns up, you know, it doesn't matter. Mundo's not a strong ganker and he's not a very strong duelist. So even if Mundo comes up, you can just run away. And bearing in mind that your first ability, it cleanses slows. So for anybody watching this, right, if you get hit by a slowing ability as Garen and you press your first ability, the slow will be gone and you'll get a burst in movement speed. Very good for escaping ganks. So now, yeah, okay, Nasus flashes, that's good. He's respecting that he knows you're in kill range, and that's absolutely right. Careful here. Okay, yeah. Good tower zoning. You know, it's good for anybody watching this, guys. If you can interrupt a person's recall, it's good, because Nasus is a champion that wants to farm, and he wants to farm quickly because he wants to get a lot of stacks in his siphoning strike. To do that, he needs to have cooldown reduction items. So chances are he's going to back and buy maybe a stinger or something to give him cooldown reduction, you know, because he wants to get as many ability ones off as possible. He wants to hit as many minions as he can, as quickly as he can, to get to his like 500 stacks ability, you know. So if you can interrupt his base as often as possible, you know, that's always going to be beneficial. Okay, pushing away from the tower. The correct thing to do is to take these minions and go back to base, but let's see what happens.
Turret is under attack.
Now, base. No, don't attack the tower, because you're not going to be able to do enough damage to it to be significant. All you're going to do now is, if you don't back now, Nasus will be able, you know, if you don't back now, you're basically staying in the lane where Nasus has an item advantage. So even if you're 500 gold ahead or 600 gold ahead, it doesn't make a difference. Right now you're behind on gold because you haven't been to base yet. So you've got a lot of gold you haven't spent. And again, you know, the wave is not in a bad position. You don't have flash. You have ultimate, but if Mundo comes now, what are you going to do? Like, Mundo could just, you know, he could just blast cone over the wall here, pop his ulti, and then just run at you.
The dragon has spawned.
But you know, it's a good thing that your bot lane seems to be doing very well, despite the very strange, strange team comp. Okay. Let me just watch that again for a moment. I missed something there. Ah, okay, look at all the damage you're taking now. Most of that is from minions. Yeah.
Middle turret is under attack.
Okay, there's two major mistakes you made there, and I'll explain them to you. Mistake number one, watch how you approach this fight. Sorry. Watch how you approach this fight, right? Neutral minion wave. Right now, Nasus is stood inside of his minions. Your minions are over here. So if you attack him, all of these minions, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 being a cannon minion, they will all attack onto you. And it's very easy for them to do that because he's stood in the middle of his minions. Your minions are all the way over here. So if you want your minions to help, what will happen is if he attacks you, your minions will walk around the outside and do this. But his minions will attack immediately as soon as you attack this guy. Watch. So you attack Nasus. This is your HP. Look at your HP, right? All the minions, this, they're all attacking you. Now watch your HP go down here. See, you've lost... Nasus only hit you with 1 Q there and maybe an auto attack, and you've lost 40% of your HP. And I'd probably say about 30% of that is just from the minions. So you've got to be very careful about... when you take trades, you have to work out if you're going to take more minion damage than the enemy. It's very important. Because you probably took this fight and you're like, what the hell? Why am I taking so much damage? It's minions, man. Minions do a lot of damage in the early game, and especially in Wild Rift. But you know, that being said, this guy still takes a lot of damage. You hit him with the Ignite, you hit him with the first ability, and you hit him with the ultimate. The downside is you hit him with the ultimate very late. So, you know, Garen's ultimate is an execute, and what that means is it does increasing amounts of damage with the lower the HP of the enemy. So the idea is it's the very last ability you use. I'd dare say if you had your ultimate, if you kept that ultimate, maybe hit one more auto attack, I dare say you probably would have got this kill. It would have been very, very close, even though you tanked all of those minions. Just another tip, by the way, if you're taking lots of minion damage, just walk into one of these bushes, and then the minions will attack the other minions again. Because so it's like, if you take minion aggro, you know, they call it aggro if you're not familiar with the term. It basically means when you're being aggressed upon by minions, just walk into the bush. Now, the only way this wouldn't break the aggro is if Nasus has a ward there, because, you know, the minions can't see you, so they can't attack you, and they're not going to follow you in the bush, unless he has a ward inside. Just something to remember. But, you know, you have to think at this stage it's starting to get a little bit scary because soon Nasus will just do naturally more damage than you will because he's going to be farming up his siphoning strike. You know, he's going to get a second point in his ultimate and he's just going to be generally a stronger champion than Garen. And you still haven't been back to base. You got 3,500 gold, you got a 400 gold lead, this is great, but you need to go back and spend this. Okay, this is a good shove. Now you need to take this cannon and run away. Even though a tower plate's about to drop, I don't really think it's worth taking because you'll lose so much tempo. Yeah, see, Nasus is already back.
Enemy slain.
Now you have to go back to base. Please do not stay. Okay, good. Let's see.
Enemy slain.
Wow, your team is smurfing. This should be a free win, right? My team is doing this. I'd be over the moon, but never. Okay. You went Triforce on Garen. I don't really like that too much in this case. I think against Nasus, I think Black Cleaver is probably better because it gives you more HP. And with Garen, you can very easily trigger the armor reduction passive on Black Cleaver. Yeah, because you know your spin, every single spin counts as a stack of your Black Cleaver, and you've only got to hit 5 to get a full stack. So Garen can stack Black Cleaver very quickly. Now Triforce is good in the sense that it has more immediate burst damage, right? So if you're maxing your ability 1, you go in, you hit an ability 1, then you run away. That's going to proc the Triforce damage. It's going to give you that burst damage right on the spot. The only situation is, I just think in this case, universally Black Cleaver would be better. It's also a cheaper item. Triforce is very expensive. I think it's the most expensive item in the game. So Yeah, I personally don't think it's as good as Black Cleaver, especially in this matchup. You know, if you were against like a mobile champion, if you were against a squishy champion, something that you could kill very quickly, then I think Triforce might be better because it probably gives you more short-term damage. But against Garen, just go Black Cleaver. It's just a better item. It's also cheaper. Okay, feeling confident now that you got a Triforce? See what happens? Okay, you gotta start using this ultimate as the last thing you use. Because look, right, you used that ultimate when he was on about 50% HP. If you waited just a little bit longer and then used your ultimate towards the end of the fight, well, it does more damage, so you would have actually won that trade. You would have won that trade if you just timed your ultimate a little bit later. But it's okay. I mean, your team is very, very far ahead now. But what's kind of blowing my mind is, look, right? It's 6.5 minutes into the game, and nobody's grouping up for the dragon. Like, you know, it's just quite confusing. Like usually, as soon as the dragon spawns, you get 5 people on both sides of the team just running at it. You know, getting aced for like a single ocean dragon, like a bunch of you know, just like some bunch of animals at the zoo or something that just want to get food as quickly as possible. Seafood, eat food. Yeah, that's good. Short little trade, because the first ability silences people, so they can't fight back. My god, your team, man, this is awesome. There'll be guys watching this video think, why do I never get teams like this? Why do my teams always feed all the time? Well, you know, you just gotta look out. There's a lot of good teams around. It's just, you know, people don't tend to notice when they're winning. They only tend to notice when they're on the enemy team, when the enemy team's doing well. Okay, just as a comment here, whenever you push a wave in like this, there's no point in just sitting around because, you know, there's no reason to be here. Nasus would just be sat here, like, taking his minions. Like, you could be in the river, you could be getting vision, you could be looking for a scuttle crab. Admittedly, right now, the scuttle crab's already been taken, but, you know, you could put a ward here, you could put a ward in your own jungle if the enemy jungle is very strong. You know, try and make your downtime as effective as possible. Like, there's no point just running in circles here because that doesn't really accomplish anything. Like, the reason why it's good to run in the jungle and place vision is because Nasus can't really follow you in case anything goes wrong because he has a minion wave under his tower. So he's going to miss out on all his minions if he leaves to join anything. And furthermore to that, you know, Nasus players are very selfish. All they care about is getting those stacks. Stack, 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 stack. You know, it's like they're playing World of Warcraft and they're just leveling some, like, alt character. It's a stack, last hit, last hit, last hit. That's all these guys want to do. But because you're a strong early and a strong mid-game champion, you want to kind of look for any opportunity to abuse your windows of strength wherever you can. Like this Nasus, you know, he's fine. He's just fine settled in the late game. If you go even with Nasus like this, you're just going to enter the late game at a disadvantage because, you know, Nasus is just a stronger champion in the late game than Garen. That's just how the champions work. So it's very important for you to pressure early and absolutely like bleed Nasus or any kind of farm. You have to pressure early to make sure that he doesn't go even. Because this Nasus, right? Imagine you're playing Nasus. This guy's happy. He's very happy. He hasn't died yet. He's got a kill. He's getting his farm. He's got his Triforce. This is the perfect game for Nasus. The worst kind of game for Nasus is when, you know, he gets behind early because somebody's attacking him. But you haven't really put out too much pressure, you know, you're kind of just going even with him. It's like, you hit minions, he hits minions. In the end of the day, you can't do that because this benefits Nasus. So, against champions like this at scale, you have to pressure them early because you're just going to lose the game if you don't. Yeah, you see, it's starting to happen now. Like, even though this guy does 2 auto attacks on the minions while you're slowed, like, look at how much HP he's taken from you. Like, there's not much you can do about this now, I don't think. Even though your team is like, what, 8,000 gold ahead? Yeah, your lane is going to be very hard from this point. Oh, even still, that's... Oh, okay. Now, do you want to know why you won that fight? Look, right, do you remember what I said about minions? Now, this time, Nasus has stood in your minions. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a cannon wave. So this time, it's him that's taking all the damage. Just, for anybody watching this, for any of you guys who don't fully understand wave management and the power of minions, just look at this. This guy's on 15% life, and he's running away. Nasus has Ignite. Nasus is on 65, 70% life, and he's chasing this guy down. Now watch what happens in the next 5 seconds. Okay, you take a Q, you take an ultimate, you take an Ignite, but that's not enough to kill this guy on its own. Especially because you used your ultimate when he was on 50% life again. But these minions, man, they're finishing the job. I'm telling you. You gotta look out for these minions. Don't take fights into minion waves where you don't have the advantage. Trust me, I see this all the time. I use this strategy all the time when I used to play Baron Lane. I would shove the wave or slow push the wave, and then people would still try and fight me. I'd win every single trade, and trust me, until you get to Emerald, people will continue. They'll continue to make these mistakes. They really will.
Enemy turret destroyed.
Well, you got the turret. That's good. So now what I want to see you do is I want to see you unlock your lane and apply pressure on the map. Forget about Nasus. Just let him do his own thing because you can't fight him anyway at this stage. Not on even footing. So what you should be doing, pushing your lane, going to help Dragon, pushing your lane, going to help mid, pushing your lane, going to get vision into the enemy jungle. Ideally you want to get Baron, but you know, you can't really get Baron at this stage of the game because it's not up for another minute. But you need to be helping your team. Like all this action is happening in the top side of the map, right? And you can't join. Like, yes, Nasus can't join, but he doesn't need to. He just wants to get more stacks, more stacks, more stacks. You as a Garen, you need to join these fights. You need to start having an impact. So that's what I want to see you do.
Middle turret is under attack.
Baron's up in 15 seconds. So push this wave, get Baron vision, go and group with your team, get a triple kill. Easy game. Yeah, like I say, you know, there's just no point in just waiting around in lane like this. It's not achieving anything.
The enemy team has slain.
In fact, this Nasus, what? Okay.
Unstoppable.
Well, I mean, this Nasus is walking towards you like the Terminator. I think he should just fight you, to be honest. There we go, and I'll see what happens. Well, you got the ulti out of Nasus completely for free. Don't tank minions. Not a good idea, as I've explained to you. Oh, the enemy team took the dragon. I didn't actually realise that. This should be a free win though. I mean, your team is hard smurfing. They're taking towers left and right. They got the Rift Herald. They're pushing in. You know, this is all very good. This is all very good. I think the game would have been faster if you helped them. So they got Rift Herald in mid. You should be looking to see if you can join. If you know the tower's going to go down, you don't need to join, but you know, I can't see from this replay what it is you're actually doing, but if you're looking here, then that's good. Because I can't see what's happening here right now. Okay. So you're going to go for a split push. I think it would have been best to join the enemy team there. Like, yes, you're going to get tower damage. Yes, you get these minions, but, you know, you should always be taking the decisions which maximize your chance of winning the game. Like, you had 4 guys here in mid lane, right? If you were there, that's an extra person. You had the Rift Herald, so your priority is to get this mid inhibitor. You get mid inhibitor, the mid lane pushes in, you get vision here, your team gets Baron, and then you go and get these side towers and end the game. Like, you just pushing this tower, you know, yes, it does a bit of tower damage, but there's a more optimal solution. Like, you don't need to just do this. And now Nasus has gone to the fight, got a kill, and now he's come to try and kill you. And bearing in mind, you know, Nasus can fight you at this stage of the game. He will do a lot of damage. What is this Vayne doing?
Enemy rampage.
What is that ward? Thank you for the 30 gold. Okay, Nasus is low on mana, so you can probably fight him now. I don't know how he hasn't realised this. Yeah, just fight him. Like, Even though you're in minions, even though, you know, even though he's stronger than you right now, he's got no mana. He can't do anything.
Middle turret is under attack.
Like, yeah, look, 0 mana. He can't hit you with a siphoning strike because he literally doesn't have the mana to use it unless he gets the honeysuckle fruit. Okay, now don't fight him. now it's not a good idea. But again, you know, you've a lot of this time here, it's just sat in lane. This isn't what you should be doing on Garen. You know, you just need to just join the team and just go and kill somebody. Like, who cares about Nasus? You killing Nasus is not going to be the reason why this game wins, you know. You're not playing against, like, you know, whether Nasus gets your head or behind isn't necessarily what's going to result in this game ending. Like, right now, your team is putting out a lot of pressure, and if only you were there to help them, you just guarantee that your team is able to secure the lead. So if this game is a loss, I dare say that this might sound a bit harsh, but you should take responsibility for this loss. Because you could have won the game for your team. Like, yes, okay, you know, you can't control what your teammates are doing, but you could have changed your decision making to improve your chances of winning. Definitely. Okay, Teemo flashes it. Yeah, you could have kept your ult there. I think you could have kept it because Teemo was going to die anyway. I mean, you already burnt Flash for absolutely no reason, as we just saw. But the mid inhibitor's gone. You know, that's very good. Gives a lot of pressure in the mid lane. It means you always have one pushing lane, and super minions do a lot of damage. There's no need to fight this, honestly. Like, it's 2v3, and what does it even accomplish? Lux has no mana. You know, just don't take fights if they're not necessary. Take a fight if you can get lots of pressure, but if you can't, then, you know, just what's the point? Because it's too risky. You don't know where the enemy team is. Even if, you know, obviously some of them are dead, but it's just good practice. Like, you're not going to be able to kill those guys. Lux had no mana, and, you know, you have to go into melee range to kill people, and they had 2 ranged champions, so I just wouldn't recommend that.
Ally slain.
Enemy team's getting a lot more kills now, but it's okay because you're like over 10,000 gold ahead. Like I said, this on paper, this should be a free win. In fact, you should have won 2 minutes ago. But nobody's getting Baron, you know. Baron is the crucial component to this win. Okay, you don't really know what your team's doing here. You know, mid lane is already pushing, right? Just look at mid lane. When you take an inhibitor, it's going to fire super minions into this lane until the end of the game. Because super minions in Wild Rift never stop spawning once you take that tower. So there's no reason for you to be here. Like, the minions are already pushing. Just leave them. Go and take this tower. Go and take this tower. You know, go and take the dragon. Go and take the, go and take the Baron. But I suppose one thing you have to consider is keep in mind where Teemo is. Now, Teemo players, they're a little bit sneaky. You just know that this guy's going to be setting up shrooms all over this area. So if you guys go for if you guys go for the dragon, I want to see somebody use a sweeper. Don't just walk into this river because you know for a fact that Teemo is just going to have mushrooms everywhere and you might get aced. You guys should be trying to get Baron vision. Yeah, you see Lux goes into mid lane for absolutely no reason and just walks into a Nasus. Like I said, there's no intention in what she's doing, you know? This isn't the optimal way to play. Like, just take the other towers, it's more gold, it's more pressure, and maybe you can get another inhibitor out of it. Like, just standing mid, it's just a waste of time. It's just a complete waste of time.
Top turret is under attack. Top turret is under attack.
Guys are shoving your lane, that's good. I can't remember how your jungler died. It's not good for the jungler to die at this stage of the game. If any of you guys are a jungler, try not to die at this stage of the game, because if you die, the enemy team will just take the Baron, or they'll take the dragon, because you can't smite, you know, you're dead. So, please value your life as a jungler. At this stage of the game, you absolutely need to. Okay. 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 This is one of the fastest ways to lose the game. Okay. When you take a fight in League of Legends, you have to assess the risk. You have to assess whether it's worth you taking this fight, or whether whether any kind of fight you take can lead to has a high chance of leading to a net positive for your team. So just let's look at the map position right now. Vi is dead, so Vi has just came back to life. She's in base. Kai'Sa was shoving bot lane, or top lane, whatever you want to call it. So she's here. Draven is here, so there's you and Lux. Okay? Now, you know Teemo is here. You can see him on the minimap. You can see two guys here, so you can assume that you don't know the location of the other two people. The other two could be waiting here for you. So if you fight this now, at the very, very best, this fight is a 2v3, which favours the enemy. They've got 3 members. They've got Vayne, Mundo, and Teemo. And you've got, right now, because of the position of where everybody is, you have yourself and Vayne. Sorry, Lux. This is, okay, now it's a 4v2 because Nace has just joined. If you run at the enemy team now, you are literally throwing the game. You are literally giving a win to the enemy team. If you die now, what's to stop all of them from just pinging Baron, being like, yo, we killed Garen, let's go and take something. They go and take Baron and they just say, go and run over your whole team. You cannot take fights like this. You absolutely cannot take fights like this. This is just going to throw every single game for your team. Whenever you decide to take a fight, you have to consider, what's the risk of losing this fight? What's the risk of winning this fight? And you have to take situations which you know there's a very high chance that you're going to win. Like, if the enemy team knows that Vi is here, Kai'Sa is here, and Draven's here, they'll just fight you, and they will win, because it's 5 versus 2. You know what you're going to do. And if you die here, they can just go at the Baron or Dragon, and it'll be a 5v4, or worse. Because, you know, this has absolutely, like... There's no way this fight can ever work out for you, especially because you're engaging on a Mundo. You know, maybe if you jump onto a Vayne, kill her immediately, and then run away, that's okay. But that's not what's happening. This is just literally running into the enemy team and giving them a free win. Like, if this was me, this game is lost. I think right now, if I did this, the game is lost. If I do this in Diamond, I've totally thrown the game and I get reported at the end. I have 9 people reporting me because there is absolutely no way that anybody in Diamond would ever do this unless they were trolling, unless they were deliberately trying to lose the game. I can't stress how important it is, guys. You have to assess whether fighting is worth it. You have to think about this. Do not fight for no reason. Like, we're not playing Call of Duty. League of Legends, fundamentally, is a strategy game. It's more like chess than it is like Call of Duty. Yeah? We're not playing to just style on people and wreck people. We're playing to apply decision making to increase our chance of winning the game. That is how you play League of Legends. My god, he gets out a lot. Oh my goodness.
Enemy slain. Enemy slain.
Wow, this gold difference is really something, right? But still, even with a gold difference like that, there was absolutely... You're very lucky, my friend. You are very, very lucky.
Turret is under attack.
Okay, well, team... Yep.
Slain.
Remember, like how I said a few minutes ago, this area is going to be loaded with shrooms. You need to buy a sweeper. When you're against a Teemo, you've already got 2 sweepers, which is good, but you know, you can't trust your teammates sometimes, so I would just buy one anyway. Also, another thing to notice, Locket of the Iron Solari, this item here, recently got nerfed. So what this means is that it now works like heal, in the sense that if one person uses it, the whole team gets a shield, but if you use it again within a certain amount of time, the next shield is halved. So you can't just like spam Locket of the Iron Solari anymore. So it's not good to have 2 people on this. If you want to use a similar item, I'd recommend going for the Redemption, the AoE healing item. But actually on Garen, I personally think the best item is probably Gargoyle Stone Plate, because that gives you plus 50% health and I think minus 50% damage taken. So, you know, very, very useful if you just want to run at people or stay alive. But there's no need to start this dragon because your jungler is going to back. So, you know, just wait. Just take the minions in the side lane here. Yep, that's good. Whenever minions die on the side lanes, guys, that's unclaimed gold. You know, this cannon's worth 80 gold. This is worth 80 gold. That's like half a kill already. Yeah? 2 cannons is half a kill. Draven gets his whole wave. That's also like a kill. That's how you gotta look at this game, right? Kills are worth 350 gold. You know, a whole wave is worth almost 350 gold, especially at this stage of the game. I mean, at this stage of the game, you know, it's all like you get like two cannon minions per wave. Very beneficial. All the money. Okay, you get dragon. That's good. Teemo's just chilling in mid lane there, trying to go for a cheeky play. A bit risky, but you know. Yeah, remember what I said earlier, guys. You got Draven over here. There's no need to start a fight because you're just missing a member. It's like starting a fight if Draven's dead because you can't join the fight, so it's the same as being dead basically.
Bottom turret is under attack.
Although Ezreal was dead, so it's almost like a 4v4. But even still.
Under attack.
Ah, okay.
Unstoppable. You have been slain. Enemy slain. Shut down. Enemy double kill.
Okay, so, you know, suddenly that 12,000 gold lead doesn't seem to work very much, does it? Now let me tell you what happened wrong with this fight. Firstly, like I said earlier, when the middle wave is pushed in, you guys don't need to be here. Teemo, most likely, has just covered this whole area of mushrooms. And he needs to because he needs to... Teemo wants to stop these super minions from pushing into base. So you can assume that he's just going to put mushrooms everywhere. So if you guys just walking in the mid lane here, you know, not only are you walking into Teemo mushrooms, you've got no towers left to take. You've only got the Nexus. You know, it's only a good idea to go through the middle lane once the inhibitor is down if you know you can end the game. Because if you can't, well, you're just walking into the enemy team. And also here, right, you've got vision here, that's fine, on this side of the map, but there's no vision here. So literally there's nothing to stop this Nasus from just walking in. Now just look at this fight, right? Lux walks into a Teemo mushroom, takes half their HP. Kai'Sa is solo, so your team is here, Kai'Sa is here. She walks into a Teemo mushroom, Teemo being the MVP of this fight. She's losing HP. Vi ults a Nasus. You're never ever going to kill a Nasus, so there's no point in ulting him. Takes a lot of damage. At this point, the reason why Kai'Sa is taking so much damage is because she's 1v3, because she's separated from the team. And then Draven, yep, he's finally joined the fight because, you know, he couldn't join earlier because he was away from the base. So you guys just have to think, is there a chance that a fight can start here? If so, can we win? The answer was no. So, yeah. Lux gets a kill, but you know, it's just not enough because Vayne gets to capitalise on the fact that you guys are split and there's lots of confusion. You know, still does a lot of damage even though she's behind. If you look here, she still has 12,000 gold. That's still quite a lot. It's almost as much as your jungler. Yeah, don't do that, Vi. Teemo's just going to blind you. Yep. Just like that. Kai'Sa's gone top lane, which I actually like in this case because there's no way you can win that fight anymore. So she's just pushing the minions. I imagine at this stage your whole team is just like pinging us saying like, noob Kai'Sa, why you no join fight? But to be honest, this is probably the best decision. This Kai'Sa is farming so that she can get individually strong. And that's what you need to do as an AD carry. You need to make sure that above all else, you have damage and you can hurt things. Oh my god, if she gets this inhibitor right now, it's totally worth. Okay, so even though you guys lost 4 members, you got the inhibitor, so that's actually a net gain for you. Yes, you lost 4 people, but look, no towers. They didn't take anything. So, this is a total win for your team. You should be very happy. This is what I mean, guys, like, when you're playing in gold, when you're playing in platinum, like, the amount of mistakes people make is so high, they give you many opportunities to win the game, and that is the difference between a gold, platinum, and a high elo player, is that they will see these moments, they will see these opportunities, even when they're behind, and they'll just take over the game. You know, you can't get ahead in every game because sometimes you get teammates that just go 0-10, but then eventually you'll always get these windows, you'll always see these opportunities to just close out the game. So if I was playing in this situation, I can see all these things happening, you know. But again, it's just another pointless fight in the mid lane. Don't fight unless you know you can win, and you lost the last fight, so there's no reason to believe you can win this fight. Even though you're still 9,000 gold ahead, which is pretty amazing. Okay, Lux gets a kill there.
Enemy killing spree. Shut down.
I don't like that Lux went Proto Belt. It's not going to save her. She should go Zanya.
Middle turret is under
Now this Vayne's going to be quite scary. I apologize, guys. I know this is a bit of a long one. 20 out of 27 minutes. Just think how many stacks Nasus has now, right? It's going to be a lot. It definitely will be a lot. Okay, right now, anyway, you've lost a lot of fights, but your priority should be to try and get some kind of vision on Dragon or Baron. The Dragon is the Cloud Soul. You know, the Cloud Elder Dragon is definitely the weakest. It just gives you movement speed, which is very useful, but all the other dragons are better. Right now, you just need to make sure that the enemy team doesn't take Baron. Oh, wow, you've already... Oops, sorry, guys. You've already taken every single inhibitor, so the next course of action is just to either win the game or take the Baron. You take the Baron, right? Baron's so strong in this game. Literally, it'll just give all your minions super amounts of damage, and it also gives your team... It gives your team more damage and defenses, I think. It definitely gives you more damage. I think it gives you more defenses. Okay, this is a bit risky because, yeah, you don't know where the enemy team is. I mean, if you get it, then that's cool, but it's still too risky, this fight. Like I said, without knowing where the enemy is, it's just, you know, the enemy jungler could just steal this very easily. Yeah, they do, exactly. You know, you can predict this to happen. You gotta think to yourself, okay, is there a reasonable chance that we can take this? And the answer is, not quite, you know, bit just too risky. Like, yeah, look at this fight, right? This was a 5v4 because Nasus didn't even join the fight, so you guys lost a 5v4 and you lost the dragon. So you've lost the last 3 fights. The last 3 fights have been a loss, even though there's a very big gold lead. So you just gotta listen to what the game is telling you. If you can't fight, don't fight. It's just not worth it. Especially because every single fight that people lose, the more people that just get tilted. Like, I imagine in this game now, everybody's just spamming surrender. I mean, a 22-minute game, to be honest, you know, we all want to go and do other things by this point. 22 minutes is a long time for this game. I don't think there's going to be much for me to say at this point, guys. Primarily because the majority of the game's kind of influence is handled by the early game. So at this, it's just going to be like, you know, late game decision making. But to be honest, at this part of the game, you can just flip a coin, and whether your team wins a fight or not, you know, you'd have no control over that. You might win, you might lose, who knows. You guys should win because you currently have Baron priority and you have 3 pushing lanes. So yeah, maybe if you get a kill on this oh, okay, that's unlucky. Draven joined that fight sooner, it would have been okay. But now what I think is going to happen is... Okay, good Zonya's.
ally slain.
Okay. Good flash by Teemo. Okay, so Vi managed to take everyone away from the Baron, that's good. Oh my god, she missed. Okay. Oh, this Vayne is hard smurfing at this stage. That flash is pointless. You were definitely going to die there. You had the Teemo DOT on you. But they have to go back because, I mean, just look at the minions here, right? They're pushing into lane. This is why super minions are so powerful, but you guys are just going to lose this, so... Unless something crazy happens, I don't think there's much more to say about this game. Okay, well, you know, at least try and do something, man. I know it must be tilting, yeah, but you gotta try your hardest to win every single game, even if they're basically lost. Maybe you can try and go for a backdoor, you know, like bait the enemy into grouping for Baron and just run down the mid lane and take the Nexus. At this stage, it's probably the best bet. Must be one big fight that kind of ends this game. Okay.
Enemy is unstoppable.
Okay, if I were you right now, I'd just run into the enemy base. Like, what you're going to do, you know, you've lost 2 members, just run into the enemy base and try and end the game. So let's see if you do that. Oh, yeah, see, not a bad idea. They still haven't taken Baron, so you might be able to do this if you're very lucky. You've got 3 super minion waves pushing in. Go on, do it.
The enemy team has slain Baron Nashor.
Okay, well, it was a good effort.
Inhibitor turret is under attack.
Okay, well, yeah, don't do this, man. Try and do anything you can, and even if you don't win, yeah, it's good practice. Just practice your mechanics against these guys. Like, the game's already lost, so you might as well try something. But yeah, these games happen. Okay. Well, there were a lot of mistakes that made that game. Or rather, I should say there was a lot of missed opportunities. There's things that I can see that presumably, you know, you're not able to see as clearly. I don't know if you watch your own gameplays or not, but yeah, there's a lot of things you can work on, definitely. There was a lot of ways for both sides to win that game a lot earlier. There really was. Like in chess, I don't know if you play chess, you would call this a missed win. So step number 1. Understand the early advantages that your champion has. You need to take any advantage you can by trying to do a lot of fighting, trying to do a lot of zoning away from the minions as early as you can against champions like Nasus. Just make sure you ward so you don't get any kind of jungle attention, you know, that kind of thing. Because I didn't actually see you place many wards in the early game. Some basic things about, I would recommend looking into how to freeze a lane and how to zone an enemy away, how to start a slow push, you know. These things would be very beneficial. There's many YouTube guides on things like that. Also, general champion mechanics, you know, I noticed that there was a lot of situations where you could have got maybe 1 or 2 kills, but you used your ultimate when Nasus was on 50% HP. Generally, you should use it when he's on about 20% HP because it's almost certainly going to be a kill. Secondly, I noticed both you and Nasus took trades into large minion waves. Don't do this. Only take trades into minion waves if you have more minions than the enemy, because then, you know, the enemy can't really fight back. And also, your back timings could do with a bit of work. Like I say, you want to time your recalls when your wave is pushed into the enemy tower, so that while they're taking minions, you go back, you get your items, you come back to lane, and then by the time you come back, the minions will have pushed back into you. So you won't really miss any minions. Like, you might miss 1 or 2 or 3, but you know, it's not a big deal. Because you come back to lane with more items than your enemy, so you can output a lot more pressure. And then one other major thing I kind of saw was that when you have a minion wave pushed in, you know, one thing is to recall, but another thing is to go and secure objectives. So, like, if you realise that you can't beat Nasus, or there's no point in fighting him, just push your wave, go and take objectives, go and take Baron, go and ward the jungle, go and try and kill the enemy jungler, go and try and gank mid. All these things are very useful. Because, you know, Nasus's game plan is very simple. He wants to sit in lane, he wants to push slowly, he wants to get last hits on the minions, and he wants to stack his Siphoning Strike. Very simple game plan, and he wants to enter the mid game and just do 1,000,000 damage. But in high reload games, people don't pick Nasus because they punish him a lot early, and the game pace is a lot faster, so he never gets the time to reach his high amount of stacks. So Nasus is a much less good champion, you know, in high reload. So yeah, I mean, a lot of what you need to work on is just early game fundamentals. Like, if you can work on that and you can have a stronger laning phase and just have a better understanding of how to pressure the map and how to play around recall timings and minion wave, etc., you'll have a lot more success. And to be honest with you, the only real difference between like a kind of platinum-ish level player and a diamond level player is mechanics is one. People's mechanics are quite a bit better, but the main difference is how you understand the fundamentals of the game. All the things I've explained so far, these are the main things that separate like a gold platinum level elo with a higher level player. Like, yes, it's mechanics, but that's only part of it. The biggest thing is there's a huge decision-making difference. There really is. But yeah, I mean, good luck. You know, there's a lot of things to work on, but this is good. You know, League of Legends is all about a learning experience. So if you have anything else, just ask me, just message me on Reddit or something, or mention in the comments or whatever. And yeah, I'll be happy to help you out. So thanks for the review, man. And yeah, good luck.